Hi everyone, Smitty here. Just wanted to take a few minutes to go over what's actually due in the course this week because I think that some of you may have been having a little bit of trouble following along with the lesson plans. So I'm just going to take a minute to show you exactly how to work in the course from beginning to end. First of all, it's very important if you're a synchronous student for you to be in class every single day. So if you have had some absences this week, if there are tech issues or you've been sick, please let me know so that I can help to get you back on track. But if you're just missing class because you don't really have your schedule down yet, or you're just not doing what you need to do, that's going to cause you some problems in the long run. So we really, really need to get to class every single day. So with that being said, I just want to show you exactly what you do every day, either before class or after class. Now, some things are going to require that you work before class or the night before, and those are going to be very brief videos that you're going to review before we start class so that you're familiar with the material we're going to cover. Otherwise, these are things that you're going to do on a daily basis. So when you first sign into the English course, you're going to see here that there are weekly plans. And I'll update these every morning for you so you know exactly what to do. You need to open those weekly plans to see exactly where you need to be. You're going to see across the top, these are my dates, and across the left, these are the lessons. So all you do is read across and down. So on 9/8, which was Monday, we worked in the first unit, Unit 1, Let's Get This Party Started. The lesson to work on was called Learning Style, Check Yourself Hotshot, and you had to do a course discussion called Learning Styles. This discussion was due on 9/8. Now, I understand that some of you didn't start right away with me, and some of you even had some tech issues or were with a different teacher and had some scheduling conflicts, so you may not have known that this was due. That's why it's important to go backwards and to check each day on the calendar to make sure that you've completed the lesson right here, and the assignment that was due, if any. You're going to see that not every day has an assignment due. You're also going to see that I canceled one of the assignments, so it was important to check this. It was important to check this on Friday morning to make sure you weren't doing the wrong thing. So let's go back to Monday. It says that we're working in Unit 1, Let's Get This Party Started, and we're working in Learning Style, Check Yourself Hotshot. So what you would have done, and you can print these out, by the way, what you would have done here was go over to this unit, Let's Get This Party Started, open it, scroll down a bit so you can see, and here's your introduction to the unit. Just read over this very quickly just so you have an idea of what's going to go on within the unit. Then you would have clicked on the actual lesson, Learning Style, Check Yourself Hotshot. When you get in here, you'll see that there's a whole explanation of what learning styles are, and you're going to see some blue links. Whenever you see a blue link, when I write click here or here, you should click on it because it's something important. So when you click here, this would have opened up the Learning Style quiz. It's a website where you answer 20 questions. At the end of this quiz, you would have gotten an indicator of what your learning style is. It gives you percentages. You may be 50% auditory and a little bit visual and tactile, or you might have been total visual with very little auditory tactile. But it's important to understand your learning style so that you learn best in this class, and you can tell me which ways work best for you. And you can also tell your other teachers. So after you complete this quiz, you would have come in here and clicked here so that you could see the qualities associated with your learning style. And you'll see it opens in a different window, or in a different tab rather, and you can scroll down and find the learning style that's most like you. And these are tips on what you should do for your particular learning style. Now, when you come back to this, you'll see down here that there was a discussion. And I tell you right here exactly what you need to do. You needed to post your name and your learning style to this board, and at least one strategy you were going to use based on your learning style that would help you to be successful this year. You'll see a lot of students did that already. The other part of this assignment was to respond to at least one other student's post, and you're going to see down here that students also did that. Caitlin and Chardonnay responded to Anarellis. Down here we had Kaylee, who had lots of responses from Nigel and Kat and Jenny and Christina. So that's all you had to do. To respond originally, you want to click the Respond button. That'll bring up a window where you can type your response, your subject, your response, and you click Post Response. When you want to respond to another student, you would simply read through the posts of the other student by clicking the arrow, and decide if that's someone that you want to respond to, and simply hit the respond button. So if this assignment is not done yet, please get that done before Monday. Now, if we go back to our daily plans and open them up again, you're going to see that on Tuesday, we did UTP is not a disease. And UTP is a website, USA Test Prep, that we're using to take benchmarks this year. And in there was an assignment called the Standard Sampler. So what we wanted to do was go ahead to our lesson. UTP is not a disease, and it's in Unit 1. So we come over here, we go back to Unit 1, and we click on UTP is not a disease. When you click on that, the lesson opens up again. And you're going to see here that, again, you had something to do. Okay, here are the standards we're going to learn all year long, so you can take a look at them. Okay, and down here are instructions to get to UTP. USA Test Prep is usatestprep.com or www.usatestprep.com, and I even included a link that you can click on, which will take you directly there. Now, once here, you want to click on the login button, and you're going to see your account ID is Agora79. And when you come back to the course, you're going to see I gave you instructions right here. Your username is your first name, last name. For example, my sign-in would be Tanya.Smith. And your password is Agora 2014. So you would come back here, enter that information, and you would enter USA Test Prep. Now, what you're going to see every Friday is that I post a benchmark for you to take in USA Test Prep. We haven't had one of these yet, but I'm going to share a code with you in your UTP lessons, which I'll get into a little bit later. You simply enter that code once you're signed into USA Test Prep, and you're able to complete that benchmark. But for right now, it's important to become familiar with UTP, so you really need to go in there and you need to complete what's called the Standards Sampler. As soon as you sign into UTP, you're going to look at your assignment list and you're going to see Standards Sampler. That needs to be completed because, again, that's a grade for you. That's 10 points in your grade book. So if you haven't completed that, please do so right away. Finally, over the last 2 days, we worked on what are standards? Because you're going to hear this a lot, and standards are super important. They're the things that we learn, the very basic fundamental things that we learn that the state of PA is going to test you on the Keystone exam. Yikes, Keystone exam. Don't be nervous. That's things that the standards are things that we're going to cover all year long. But what we did these last few days was we thought about our future. Standards are great for school. They're great to learn for the Keystone so that we can pass them, but they're also applicable to your future careers. And that's something we did all week. So what you should do here is just sign into this lesson. And how did I know to go here? Let's go back to our course homepage. I apologize for that. So after we complete the UTP sampler, we go back to our daily plans. And we see that on 9/10, now mind you, you should be doing this every day. On Wednesday, you should have woke up, looked at 9/10, and you should have said, okay, we're still working in Unit 1. A lesson is, what are standards? And there was nothing due then. Okay, this was just something that we were going to look over. So you say, okay, let me check out, what are standards? So we head in here, and we check this out. And don't forget, there's a video right here that you can simply click on to play. Very simple stuff. Everything you need is right directly in the course. So now, after you watched that, you see right here that there's a list of the standards we'll learn and apply in English this year. That was something we covered in the live session on Wednesday. So what you would have done is click here, and again, it opens in a different tab. And here's a list of the standards you would use for your constructed response assignment that we completed yesterday and today. All these are a list of the basic fundamental things that the state of PA expects you to know and things that we're going to cover all year long. So if you look at them and you were in class, you'll remember that we kind of had duh moments where we were like, really, these things are stuff we already know, and I was getting myself all freaked out, like standards were some big deal. They're not. They're all things that you already know. It's just that you didn't realize that they had names and that you were recognizing examples, and that was a skill. And that drawing inferences or making educated guesses is actually a skill that the state of PA wants you to know and demonstrate. So these aren't real difficult things. But the thing about standards is that they're the fundamentals. They're the fundamentals that we need to survive in the real world as well. So when you come down here to things like sequence of steps, How far would you get in life if you couldn't follow directions? So not only do these things apply to English class, but they also apply to your future career. And that's why we were doing our constructed response, our first constructed response, using these standards. How do two of these standards, at least two, apply to your future career? Why is it important for you to be able to recognize main idea important supporting details in your future career? What is it important about recognizing examples in your future career? Is it? Maybe not. But you had to go through this list and decide which ones were important for your future career, and that may be where your focus is. Now, after that, I tell you here, right, after you save this list of standards, please go to the list to complete the assignment Standards Matter to Me. You will find this assignment in the left-hand menu directly underneath this lesson. So when we look over here, here it is. So not only did you learn about its standards, but you had an assignment to do that was testing you on the standards. So when you click here, and if you were in class, you know that I gave a lot of resources. And here's where all those resources are contained. We're going to extend our knowledge by writing a constructed response. And don't forget, all a constructed response is a built answer. It's an answer that you build in writing. So we need to prepare for this. So what did we do? We're going to use our standards, and we're going to write in response to these standards. So there's a specific format we'll use to write a constructed response, and you can use this format in any class. Actually, you should use this format in any class. So here is a writing guide I created that I want you to save to your computer. Anytime you're asked to do a constructed response, pull out the writing guide and do it right on there, and then transfer your answers to a regular Microsoft Word document and change the color to black. And you'll be fine because it is color coded. So for you, click here. It's going to ask you what you want to do. You want to open it, and then you want to save it. If you just save it, it's going to get lost in cyberspace, so don't do that. Click Open With, open it, and then save it. Okay, and again, that's for you to save. Then down here, I posted videos and slides of the class where I taught constructed responses. So these may come in handy to you too. You want to click on those. And finally, I wrote my own sample constructed response about my own career. So that might help you to develop your constructed response about your future career. So you want to click here to see a sample. And again, that's going to ask you what you want to do. You want to open it, and then you want to save it. Don't just save file. Finally, when you get down to the bottom, you're going to see right here, click here to open the Standards Matter to Me assignment. Simply click on it, open it, and you're going to see that you're able to type right on it. Okay? Here's the explanation of what you're doing. And if you watch our recorded live session from either Thursday or Friday, you're going to understand exactly what goes into each of these squares. So be sure to watch that recording. Okay? Now this is 9 sentences. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each of them has a purpose, so please be sure to review the recording if you're not sure how to write a 9-sentence constructed response. And that brings us to the end of the presentation. Now just remember, we canceled Rockin' the Keystone test, and we canceled What Do You Want From Me Lady? But What Do You Want From Me Lady is super simple. It was just that kid is adorable. It was just a little explanation of what I expect from you for the year. So now you know, when you first sign in, the first thing you want to do every day, you want to look at your daily plans. You want to make sure you know what you're doing. You want to make sure you're doing it. Don't skip out on class. If you're supposed to be in live sessions, be in live sessions. But remember, as of today, you had your discussion due. You had the UTP Assignment Standards Sampler due, and you had your constructed response assignment due, Standards Matter to Me. That should be in the Dropbox by the end of today. Now, just a little overview for Monday. We're doing a flipped classroom this year, and what's important for you to understand is that before every class, you should be coming into that day's lesson. It's a Learn lesson. Whenever you see a Learn lesson, you're going to see a video, and I'm going to teach you very quickly in 8 minutes or less what we need to learn for the day. and then you're going to come into class and practice those things. So when you see a Learn lesson on your daily plans, be sure to click on it and watch this video before class.